beautiful thing right now.
Rise and shine, it's a beautiful day. I am alright.
About a third of the building has been blown away.
This is the bridge to the white lights.
Our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts.
And at that point, we were taken for another round of questioning, this time related to our allegedly being members of Mossad.
It's crazy evil.
Good morning. Welcome to the No Way Jose podcast. This is the Morning Dump. I am your host, Jose Galison. What is up, people? See a few of you all in the chat here already. Good to be with you guys today. It is June 19th, a beautiful Thursday morning. Already got my workout in, about to dig into my coffee and hang out with you guys. I'm sure I'm already expecting a few comments about my glasses. Yes, I put on other glasses. I just realized how dirty my other ones were. The ones I've been using for like work and just kind of my regular. I swapped over these, and it's like I can see so fucking clear now. It's weird. And I don't know. I just don't like these ones. I always thought I looked a little bit like a lesbian, but I can see so much better in them. So I need to get new glasses. That's what I need to do. That's why I'm wearing these. I definitely like the other ones. I know you guys tease me for looking like a serial killer, but I think it looks fucking cool. But glad to be with you guys today. We have, I don't know, so far as the World War III front, seems kind of like we're still in a little bit of a delay. Like they can't make up their mind. I think for all the reasons we've been going through, their base is completely ready to essentially turn on them when they do. So I think that may play a big part. But let's take a moment and say good morning, everybody. Good morning, Ray. Good morning, Tom33. Good morning, Hey Say What Now. Good morning, CSESTP. And I am not late. Well, I guess like 2 minutes late, but that's fashionably late. That's okay. Nobody cares. Who brings that up? Who brings up when you're 2 minutes late? Unless it's like for like a serious job, like... Not even like I don't know what I'm trying to think of. Like any laid back job, 2 minutes late. It's just, oh, hey, Bob, no one cares. So don't be a dick, CSATP. I'm just kidding. Hey, say what now? Good morning. Good morning, Gerald Hall. Good morning, Fire Pixie. Good morning, Real John Doe. Good morning, Hustle Bones. Oh, let me turn the notifications off on my phone. Being an unprofessional. Oopsies. Sorry about that. Don't want it beeping later. All right, there we go. Good morning, everybody. All right, I see some more of y'all in here, but let's get into some stuff. Like I said, we are kind of just in this purgatory territory is where we're at right now, and we'll get into that. I mean, we have, I'm sure you can tell by the title, we're going to get in on the beating up of Ted Cruz that everyone is doing right now, because why not? Fuck that guy. But I think, I don't know, Ted Cruz may very well have saved the fucking world the other day. I don't know. We'll get into it through the course of the day, but I don't know where we're going. But so we were told like a week ago that maybe by as early as Monday we could be in the war, and it's still Thursday, and we are not. So thank goodness. I can say we are not. Okay, there's this heavy qualifier here. They're playing this game if they're not announcing like whether we're assisting, I guess, in so many different ways. If is my understanding, hell, that was even one of the big things in the Ted Cruz Tucker thing is that he accidentally got him to slip up and kind of admit to doing a little bit more than what he sort of had before. But even still, they're still not admitting to doing anything offensive, any sort of offensive capabilities. So they're holding out on that. So, but we'll see. We'll see where that goes, but I don't know. We might, they might not do it. It's weird. It's been weird to watch. It feels like the shoe should drop any moment now, but still not happening. So, let's go through. Here's the first story. This is from Dave DeCamp over at Anti-War. He said, report Trump privately approved plans to attack Iran, but has withheld the final order. This is the Wall Street Journal reported on Wednesday that Trump has told his top officials that he approved plans to attack Iran, but is holding off on giving the final order for now. Sources told the Journal that Trump was waiting to see if Iran would give up its nuclear program, which is almost certainly not going to happen. Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has rejected the U.S. president's calls for surrender, and Tehran's position is that it won't negotiate while under Israeli attack, which seems pretty reasonable. Iran also has no reason to trust the U.S. in the moment since Trump backed Israel's attack amid negotiations between Washington and Tehran. Trump has refused to say if he will launch airstrikes on Iran, telling reporters on Wednesday, "I have ideas on what to do, but I haven't made a final. I like to make the final decision 1 second before it's due." The Journal report didn't specify what attack plans Trump approved, but would likely involve U.S. airstrikes on the Fordo nuclear plant, which is buried deep underground, making it impossible to do significant damage without U.S. bunker buster bombs, and the U.S. heavy bombers needed to drop them. Iran's made it clear that we launch, that we're going to be in trouble, basically. So, I mean, that'll be... I mean, it's seemingly so far in this back and forth of, between all these countries, it hasn't done a damn thing to us, and it's pretty much been bending over backwards to avoid doing anything to it. So it really kind of comes down to, it's kind of I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you game. Like, well, at some point, like, are you going to touch him or are you not? Because this is fucking gay. So, but, I don't know, either way, the more we can throw gums in the works and slow this down, the better, I mean, they are getting ready to do a vote and have all these people on record here soon. So, and if we can get them on record before it goes down, that's even better. So, but here we go. And then we have also President Trump told Netanyahu to keep going in Iran. This is probably one of his truths or whatever. It says Trump said on Wednesday that he told Netanyahu, he said in a phone call a day earlier, to keep going with his attacks on Iran. So now he's literally telling him to continue. He's not even telling him to stop. So this is just even more pathetic. The president told reporters that Netanyahu, who is wanted by the ICC for his role in war crimes in Gaza, is a good man who has been treated very unfairly by his own country. He's a wartime president. Going through this nonsense, ridiculous, Trump said. His comments about Netanyahu come amid anticipation over whether or not the U.S. will enter Israel's war with Iran directly by launching airstrikes. So he also said on Wednesday that nobody knows whether he'll enter the war or not. He said, "You don't know that I'm even going to do it. You don't know. I may do it. I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do. I can tell you this, that Iran's got a lot of trouble." Which that was, I'm pretty sure that was pulled from, I've seen a few people run with that, and I'm not saying Dave's meaning anything by running. I think people see this one and they think it's ridiculous. It was literally a response to, I forget how the reporter worded it, but to be funny, it was kind of a semi-funny answer because they were asking something, and it was like a, hey, are you going to do strikes, kind of, and where, or something, like a very specific question that, like, if you were a the president can't answer. So it was just kind of it was like a sort of a funny response, like, oh yeah, here's where we're doing it. It's at this time and in this place. He's like, yeah, I can't tell you that. So then it kind of it's a little, people catch the ass end of that too, where he kind of is like, I don't know, am I gonna do it? Am I not? Because it sounds like he's almost playing, like, teasing, like joking around, like, I don't know. It was more just teasing the reporter than it was making a joke of it or anything like that. Or like playing like I don't know, people have almost made it sound like he's just kind of, ooh, I'm just messing with you, just fucking with you type deal. Like, I don't know, like some sort of mind games or something. I don't think it really was just, I think, as simple as teasing a reporter when he was asked that question, and it was kind of funny. Okay, what the fuck, Jeff? All right. Next story. And then we have Iran's Khamenei rejects Trump's demand for surrender. Surprise, surprise. Warns U.S. against entering the war. So he said Ayatollah Ali Khamenei on Wednesday rejected President Trump's demand for an unconditional surrender, because you guys remember he put out that stupid fucking tweet or whatever that just said literally unconditional surrender, and he warned the U.S. against entering the war. Trump has also threatened Khamenei and claimed that U.S. is aware of his location but wasn't going to kill him for the time being. This is from Khamenei. Says, Trump has threatened us. Not only does he make threats, but he also makes absurd, unacceptable rhetoric to openly demand that the Iranian people surrender to him. When a person hears such things, it's truly surprising, Khamenei said in a televised address. And this is kind of what I'm talking about, where it's like, hey, they haven't done a damn thing to us, and if anything, they're kind of bending over backwards to try. Because they don't want to. They don't want us to get involved in the war. They want to do everything they can not to. So like, but at a certain point, it kind of becomes like, okay, we're retarded if we don't like respond, and like you clearly are in this war. So, my point being is like we are pushing it so far that's like, come on, like I mean, like you're literally threatening the fucking the leader. I mean, I don't know, making all sorts of like literally the surrender thing. Like this isn't even technically your war, so it isn't wise to tell the Iranian nation to surrender. Wise people who know Iran, the Iranian people, and Iran's history would never utter such words. Why would the Iranian nation surrender? What should the Iranian nation surrender to? The Iranian nation isn't a nation that surrenders. We haven't attacked anyone, and we definitely won't tolerate anyone attacking us. We will never surrender in response to the attacks of anyone, Khamenei said. He goes, of course, Americans who are familiar with the policies of the region know that the U.S. entering in this war is 100% to its own detriment, Khamenei said. The damage it will suffer will be far greater than any harm that Iran may encounter. The harm the U.S. will suffer will definitely be irreparable if they enter this conflict militarily. And he very well might be correct, unfortunately. And then it kind of goes into more on Trump's statements that we've already gone into. Let's take a moment. Let's pop in the chat real quick. I feel like it's been a second since I checked with you guys. See what you guys say. See what all y'all doing. And y'all burning down small businesses to celebrate Juneteenth. I'm going to get right on it after this. Gerald says Jose doesn't need glasses, he just wears them so people take him more seriously. Man, I wish. I am blind as a bat. Blind as hell. CSESTP says they really were not expecting this much pushback from the public. Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like. So, like, yeah, they thought their keywords, WMD, would spin their magic again. I thought I heard a door knock. Sorry. Back in this. China already said they won't sit by if the U.S. attacks, which, okay, cool. I mean, assuming you're correct, you're a real John Doe, that's good, because I had seen reports that weren't just kind of like tweets. So, one of those ones that are like breaking, and you don't know if it's true or not. People saying, oh, China was going to sit out. Obviously, I didn't put much stock in that. What's up, Doctori? Good morning. What's up, Andrew Jacobs? What it do? By the way, good to have you on as a patron. Appreciate your support, brother. Jeff has entered the chat. Meow. Free Palestine. Exactly. Imagine taking the moral high ground after you literally orchestrate a coup against country that nationalized their oil industry. And then Doctori says China is certainly supplying war materials already. That's what I've heard, is that they have been supplying war materials. So, yeah, that seems the more reliable reports as opposed to the other ones I heard. But there's a lot of stuff on the ground that you kind of have to take with a grain of salt. So, like, hell, even the pretty big one, all the claims of, like, Trump supposedly, like, vetoing an attack on Khamenei, and that it was all bullshit, supposedly, too. So there's lots of that. I mean, the same thing happened with Russia and Ukraine, so... don't be retarded, people. And here we go. The IAEA chief says there's no proof Iran working toward a nuclear bomb. So is Rafael Grossi, the head of the IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Agency, reaffirmed on Tuesday this organization had no proof that Iran decided to build a nuclear bomb ahead of Israel's attack on the country. Grossi made the comments in an interview with CNN host Christiane Amanpour, who brought up the fact that U.S. intelligence had also assessed that there was no evidence Iran was working toward a nuclear weapon. What we informed and what we reported was that we did not have, as in coincidence with some sort of the sources you mentioned here, that we did not have any proof of a systematic effort to move into a nuclear weapon, Grossi said. He added that the IAEA couldn't say whether or not there was clandestine activity, but that it wasn't aware of. But, I mean, obviously, anytime anyone does anything, you never know if there could be clandestine activity you're not aware of, because that's kind of by definition. But anyways, but based on available evidence, there was no indication that Iran was attempting to weaponize its nuclear program. Netanyahu launches war with Iran based on the claim that Iran was advancing towards nuclear weapons. According to a report from the Wall Street Journal, the U.S. was not convinced by Israel's intelligence that Iran made the decision to build a nuclear bomb. And other reports say the U.S. still assessed Tehran wasn't seeking one ahead of Israel's attacks. Grossi brought up the fact that Iran has a stockpile of uranium enriched at the 60% level, but has not attempted to enrich at the 90% level needed for weapons grade. And Iranian officials have made clear they were willing to reduce enrichment levels and get rid of the stockpile of highly enriched uranium in exchange for sanctions relief as part of a deal with the U.S. Israel's bombing campaign in Iran has targeted the country's civilian nuclear sites, including the Natanz facility in the Isfahan province of central Iran. Grossi said on Monday that Israel's strikes failed to destroy the underground centrifuges at Natanz, but did destroy above-ground facilities. Israel's hoping the U.S. joins the war. Yeah, you get that. So, yeah, so even the person who's supposed to be the one that monitors it, there's even rumors, fairly credible rumors, I would say, that the IEA is basically a borderline Zionist front of sorts, and yet, despite all that, you still have the head of it still coming out going, no, this is bullshit. No, there is no nuke. So despite even being clearly some sort of entity that's in the bag for Israel, the biggest example people point to was in the past, Iranian scientists or nuclear scientists who have been killed, and that was after the names being leaked out of IAEA ones. And there's claims that Iran they supposedly have secret documents. This is supposedly one of the ones from their trove of secret documents showing all sorts of untoward behavior from the West. So, all right. And then while this is all going on, we still have, now if anything, they're stepping up their murder campaign over in the Middle East. So here, Israel slaughters 140 Palestinians in Gaza over 24 hours. So that's stepping up the game. Because I believe what we were like at roughly 30 or so in the aid stations. We're looking, it was probably 80 to 100 a day. So now we're up to 104. They're stepping it up. They're not playing games anymore. So yeah, on Wednesday they killed 140 Palestinians and wounded 560. And yeah, remember yesterday we talked about they had that massacre. They were literally like tank shells, just shooting at fucking people, just wild stuff. So they said another 4 bodies of Palestinians killed in previous attacks were recovered. So yeah, just finding bodies. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't really want to say this. I mean, I keep bringing this one up. Just kind of, I feel like it's worth mentioning that, like, while we're doing this Iran stuff, if anything, they're fucking off more over in Gaza. So, okay, cool. They just successfully, shuttled one failing game of theirs into another one. So, I don't know. Keep the pressure on, I guess. All right, let's check in, see what you guys got to say. All right. Apparently they're sending components and Iran has assembling plants to avoid sanctions, says Doctori. Okay. All right, let's get into the next thing. Here we go. All right. Let me make sure we got some audio. Yep, we got audio. All right, this is Luke Rakowski. Clip this sucker up. But this is Trump on what's going on with Iran. I think this is one of the more. This was yesterday, early afternoon. It's around 4ish. So this was what Trump had to say around that time, roughly, give or take. Let me see. Let's see if this says something different over here. Okay, let's go and play.
He said I was going back home to make a ceasefire. Not a ceasefire. We're long beyond ceasefire. And I said, why do you say that? Why would you say ceasefire? It's a bad term to use. Because a ceasefire means like everything's going swimmingly, we'll take a little time off. It's not. We're not looking for a ceasefire. We're looking for a total, complete victory. Again, you know what the victory is. No nuclear weapon.
Mr. President.
So I thought it was a very badly worded statement by him, and obviously I...
All right, so this is him clearly taking umbrage to someone saying, hey, we should we should do a ceasefire or something. Well, this is the idea. This because now they're just trying to use this as leverage against Iran. Of okay, you want this to stop? Well, then you need to unconditionally surrender, whatever the fuck that means. I doubt anyone's given any sort of consistent what that means, unless that means literally give up your entire country, which is insane. Hell, we talked about yesterday that op-ed about talking about partitioning Iran, which I believe Iran is part of the Greater Israel Project. So. I don't know. Wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, this is not good language. I don't like this. This implies that, like, oh, cool. Well, we'll talk again. Well, this ceasefire will happen when it's done. When you just give up the game entirely. That's how I interpret that. So. Also, yesterday, I guess there were lots of people making much to do, as well they should, to some extent. I guess Iran bombed a hospital. Here's Drew Pavlov saying, Iran just bombed Saraka hospital in Beersheba, southern Israel. I'm sure that people will soon march in the streets to protest this, right? And then here's some photos of it. I guess where you can kind of see it got shelled. Okay, yeah. Definitely not cool. I'm not a fan of bombing hospitals. And it's funny, Ryan Grimm here says, very glad to see the widespread recognition that bombing hospitals is a war crime. We should halt military support to any country engaging in such crime and prosecute all involved, which is kind of smart thing here. It's like, okay, cool. All these people go, oh, yeah, they're doing, okay, cool. Yeah, that is a war crime. That's not cool. But when you're engaged with a country that we have watched over the years, over the past, handful of years, when was October 7th? Been 3 years or something now, hasn't it? Anyways, once you've seen just for years, just the continual and repeated over and over and over, it was just shitload of hospitals they bombed over in Gaza. So yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of, I don't know. I guess feels just adorable. I guess we go, oh no, they're bombing a hospital. It's like, okay, for one, what do you want us to do about it? They are already at war. We've already sanctioned them. So it is like, yeah, people go, oh no, look at this. You're like, oh, we'll march in the streets to protest this. Why would we protest Iran? This is like the warped mind of the neocon here. It's like, well, why would we do that? That makes no sense. Yeah, you guys have already stated them as an enemy. We're not doing anything with them. But that's why it's just funny when Ryan Graham did a good job here to kind of point out oh, cool, we should halt military support and prosecute people. Well, hey, we would totally be able to do such a thing with our Israeli counterparts. That's within our power. Both of those items are within our power to do. We 100% could prevent military support, and we probably could even, I don't think we could do both, but if you were especially if you tied it to military support, hey, Israel, you've been doing all this crazy shit. I want fucking names, and these people will fucking... you will do what needs to be done, so these people, I don't know, so justice is done. All these deranged IDF members I don't know, lobbing grenades at fucking Palestinians for fun and, just shit like that. Those people should be prosecuted. And then you could hold the leverage of, but yet we're not giving you any military support while this is the case. I don't think they should get it either way, but I'm just saying you could even get prosecutions. You'd have to leverage something else military support, but... yeah, that's within our power. It's not within our power to do anything to Iran. What are we going to do to Iran except for bomb them more? So, yeah. All right, let's get into this. I just wanted to make you guys aware that the great debate of our time, Dave Smith versus Ben Shapiro, has, I think, kicked off, and we are going to witness this together. Let's go ahead and play this. Oh, I just saw the audio's out. Give me a second. God, I had it working a minute ago. Dang it, stupid thing. All right, give me a second. Percent share screen. Here we go. All right.
Apparently, America first means Iran must have a nuclear weapon and America can do nothing. And if you disagree with that, then you are not America first.
This is why Ben Shapiro is falling apart and losing all of his influence and just constantly being mocked. He even has his top guys at Daily Wire are basically going against him as much as they're allowed to. Being America first means that Iran must be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. Again, it's like arguing being anti-war means you're going to let Saddam Hussein have a nuclear weapon. Iran does not have a nuclear weapon. All of our intelligence backs this up. Literally, since 2007, the CIA has been saying they don't have a nuke and they're not pursuing a nuke. This year, the Director of National Intelligence released the annual threat report 2 months ago. What did she find? Iran does not have a nuclear weapon and they are not pursuing a nuclear weapon. The entire international community has conceded the same thing. They don't have nuke. This is a figment of your imagination, or otherwise known as a pretense for a regime change war, which the Israelis and the neoconservatives have openly admitted for 30 years has been their goal, overthrowing the Iranian regime. Tell me something, Ben Shapiro. When Netanyahu said in 1992 that Iran was 1 to 3 years away from a nuke, and then when he said they were 1 to 3 years away from a nuke, again and again and again and again for 30 years, 35 years, whatever the math on that is, 33, 34 years. When he was saying that, was he mistaken? Was he wrong? Or was he trying to lie my country into another war just like he did with Iraq and Libya and Syria? Which one do you think? See, I tend to think it's the latter. No, America first doesn't mean Iran, this non-existent Iran gets nuclear weapons that you just make up like every goddamn war is sold on, these bullshit lies. America first means we don't go to war on behalf of other countries. But you wouldn't know about that because you're not America first. As we all know, you're Israel first, which is fine. Just be that. At least admit it.
Apparently.
All right, I only brought that up just to let you guys know this is happening, and be aware. It's on, and I don't know, it just seems fitting during this time that we have Dave Smith, the Ben Shapiro thing finally seemingly culminating. Now, what this will end up being, I don't know. I have a feeling probably nothing. That'll probably be. Well, Shapiro. I mean, if Shapiro's nose is good for him, he'll probably go back to trying to ignore Dave Smith. But who knows? Maybe he'll get a little bit uppity. Maybe he'll try. I mean, it does seem like they've tried to throw some of their other champions at him, and they've floundered. So it kind of seems like it has just kind of risen to the threat level of, okay, we'll put Benny Boy on it. So, okay, I don't know. I think there's a good possibility we could see in the next few months, 6 months, so we could see this elevate into something to where we see old Davey Smith and Ben Shapiro, the battle of the Jews. I could see it. I could see it. I think we might very well see it, but it's only fitting that at the same time we have Ted Cruz getting absolutely destroyed by Tucker Carlson. So we have the narrative game in full force. Kind of the point I've been trying to drive at, just that it's unsustainable for this whole if they're going to try to trot out some sort of propaganda campaign to try to create some sort of campaign to boots on the ground in Iran. I don't think it's happening. I don't think it's happening. I think I guess you could say our propaganda network, the anti-Zionist, the anti-war, whatever. It's pretty strong, and I think unless something dramatically changes, it's I mean, it really is. This is why I sound like a crazy person, but I'm genuinely a little bit concerned about like nukes or something like that, because it's like they're in a position where they kind of got to go hard as fuck or not at all. Because I mean, and if they go hard as hell too, they're also going to get they're still going to get pushback. But it's almost like the idea of trying to do a sustained, dragged out propaganda campaign to try to convince America to get boots on the ground, all while you're like positioning your military forces and all that. Good luck with that. But this idea of like, they kind of sneaked this one. They kind of pulled a sneaky. So everything was already ready to go, and like, okay, cool, we're going. And so like no one's even had time to catch up really and be like, wow, whoa. So just like it's kind of they just keep pushing the pedal to the gas. Like that would be their move to actually get shit done. It's like they have to go hard, they have to go fast, and they have to go hard. Is where they're at right now. That's the only thing I think that makes sense. So this is why I think it's super important when we see shit like Tucker destroying Ted Cruz at this point in time, where just a little something like that, even if you take just a little bit, just maybe you can gum it up enough. I don't know. We'll see. But I did want to let you guys know about this. One of you guys shared this to me. Thank you, Jabrowski Johnson. Appreciate it. Thanks for this. By the way, don't forget, guys, follow me at Tower Gang Jose. Tag me and stuff. You guys are my eyes and ears out there. So you guys contribute to helping inform the rest of the group. But this is from Hustle Bitch, which, okay, great name. I don't know, but it says all U.S. Navy ships just vanished from Bahrain and reappeared on Iran's doorstep. No fanfare, no press reliefs, just ghosted Bahrain overnight. Now 6+ U.S. warships are parked across the Strait of Hormuz. Gulf of Oman and right off Iran's coast, according to fresh satellite imagery. They didn't go home, they moved into striking position. The Strait of Hormuz isn't just water, it's the world's oil jugular, and now it's swarming with U.S. firepower. This isn't a routine repositioning, this is either a warning or the opening move. And the fact no one's talking about it, that's the loudest signal of all. Something's coming. So, I mean, I don't know if, I mean, obviously with any of these reports, you know, I haven't, to be fair, I haven't even checked to see if this is, you know, elsewhere. This seems like reasonable. This would be something that'd be happening. So I know if I'm wrong, you know, let me know in this chat if this is not the case, but this is totally something that's been in play. We've been waiting for it to be in play. So Strait of Hormuz, baby, get ready for fucking, you know, what, $5+ honestly, probably, I don't know what it was. I mean, a low end, what they say, it's 30%, I think, of the oil runs through there. So the very least, you could expect a 30% increase, I would think, in gas. So, yeah, $5. I'd say, like, probably $5 gas. I guess it depends on the I'm thinking in my state. I forget. You Cali people are already at $5 gas, you fucking sickos. Yeah, I'm thinking, like, Florida. So, like, probably $5 for, I don't know, for you guys in, like, Cali, you are looking at probably 10+. So I don't know. Hopefully cooler heads prevail because let's just keep on fucking this economy. Like who gives a shit, right? Just screw this economy. All right, guys. Let's go to the chat and then we'll get into beating the piss out of Ted Cruz because boy, I've been looking forward to this. It's been fun. It's going to be fun. All right, let's roll through the chat. See what you guys got to say. Shapiro will be a little bitch like always, says Doc Tory. Yeah, I mean, you say he's be a little bitch. I kind of tend to agree, but I think, as stupid as it may sound, him mentioning Dave's name, I think is a signal that he's like, I think he's going to start taking pot shots at him. I think it'll take a while before they can get any sort of direct confrontation, if anyone happens, but I think I think we're going to see pot shots from Shapiro, which fine, keep doing it. So Dave's hyped that he said his name, yeah, for sure. Shapiro's too scared, says Tom33. You're probably right. Nose to nose, says Fire Pixie. I get what you're saying here. Said British Navy too. Okay, carriage full of jets entered the Gulf yesterday. There you go. Hustle Bones confirming it. Yeah, so shit's... I mean, I don't even know what really could go down there. I don't really have an idea. But yeah, shit could get weird. So... buckle up, baby. Gas is probably about to get expensive. All right, let's go over to Ted Cruz. I just wanted to point out the homie Dave DeCamp pulling an absolute epic fucking, like, from the top rope fucking ratio type here, making fun of Ted Cruz. One of the things that came up there, like, I don't even know. I'll probably get done with today and then think back, like, shit, I should have addressed this. Shit, I should address that. There were so many things. For those who haven't watched the Ted Cruz Tucker Carlson interview, you should. It's like, I'd say probably, I don't know, probably literally one of the best journalistic interviews of our modern time. Like, in all seriousness. Like, I mean, there was some stuff that I thought were a little bit catty and gotcha, but I don't know, even then he made it, even when he was like that, it was still kind of like endearing in a way. It was very much him. Like there's even one that it's kind of funny. He even acknowledges it. He's like, you know, Ted calls him. He's like, you know, stop being catty or whatever the term was. He's like, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's a problem I work with. And then he just continues to go on to fucking dicking it to him. It's just, I don't know. It's just a really good. I know, just great. And there's so many different things that get attacked that don't ever get attacked. Like we get the whole anti-Semitism. You know, oh, you're an anti-Semite. Oh, APEC. We get. I mean, I don't know. We get literally biblical fucking you know, reasoning for supporting Israel, which is kind of where I guess we're starting at. And I think it's particularly funny. We have Dave DeCamp here that's you know replied to Ted Cruz in reference to the concept of Israel. But let's start actually. David Friedman, who I think he ended up being the. I think they were going to point him to the ambassador, or I guess he is a former. For some reason, I thought he had a position, some sort of position right now. But either way, he was the ambassador to Israel from 2017 to 2021. But he put out a tweet, kind of to Tucker's support. He said, last night, Tucker Carlson acknowledged as a Christian the biblical mandate to bless Israel was suggested that the government of Benjamin Netanyahu was not biblical Israel, but suggested that the government of Benjamin Netanyahu was not biblical Israel. Seems to me a pretty misguided point that the son of a rabbi will try to address. Israel has always been Israel. It had always had leaders, some good, some not. The Bible has never qualified the mandate to bless Israel by who was leading it. And by the way, I support Netanyahu. The nation of Israel today comprises a people that prays in the same language, in the same places, and in the same liturgy as in ancient times. Its faith is governed by the Old Testament. This is the same nation of Israel referred to in the Bible. The return of the Jewish people from exile to statehood within the land of Israel is exactly the biblical prophecy of Ezekiel, Isaiah, and Jeremiah, and actualizes God's covenants with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You don't need to believe any of this, but if you're a self-proclaimed Christian professing allegiance to biblical covenants and prophecies but denying these principles, I don't understand your theology. And then we have Ted Cruz saying, exactly right, and yes, Tucker really argued that when the Bible says Israel, it didn't mean ... Israel, which is, I don't know, especially if you, while I'm not particularly religious, it's kind of like, if you understand what the Bible is talking about when they're talking about Israel, and then Israel now, it's kind of an eye roll moment. And then Dave DeCamp replied, if I named my son Jesus, would you worship him as God because he has the same name as the Jesus from the Bible? And then that got, 23,000 likes to his 11,000. So to Ted Cruz's. So we have Dave DeCamp, 2x ratioing, what is he? Is he Congress or is he Senate? What is he? Senate. Yeah, Senator. That's right. So fucking 2x ratioing sitting senator. So bravo, Dave. Good job. I just wanted to point that out. That was sick. But it also kind of highlights the point. Everyone, it's a stupid thing that you see a lot of the people, a lot of the, I don't know, the pro, Bible makes me cuck for Israel people, going, oh, do you think Israel means Israel? As if that's like, I don't know, some like great argument. It is literally just like Dave pointed out here. It's like the idea of like naming somebody something. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Just because I call this an apple doesn't mean you can take a bite out of it. This is still clearly a computer mouse. We can call it an apple, but it still does not have the same properties as this other thing that you call an apple. So two things can, like, things can be called the same thing. Like, I'm trying to think, I don't know. You guys get the idea. It's just stupid. So, but yeah, it's a very, but let's keep going on this. We have Jacob here. He says the Genesis blessing given to Abraham and his offspring is fulfilled in Christ, Galatians 3:16. It refers to people of faith, not a modern state or ethnicity. God's covenant isn't with geopolitical entities, but with his covenant people, period. So, and that's, I know I'm not religious, but there you go. You have Jacob. He's a religious feller saying it right there. And that makes sense to me. It says the Genesis blessing given to Abraham and his offspring. Was that Galatians 3:16? That's where you can find it. It's fulfilled in Christ. So, and it refers to the people, not a specific governmental entity. But let's go ahead and play this so you guys know what this is referring to.
That's Israel. Okay. So Tucker, words matter.
Uh-huh.
And you know that. I said I resolved to be the leading defender of Israel, and you said your driving motive, the reason you're in the Senate.
You want to be the leading defender of Israel. I would think if I ran for Senate, I'd be like, there are people dying of drug ODs on the street.
My driving motive is to fight for Texas and America, and to fight for jobs, and to fight for the Constitution. And you played a very, very careful word game of a lie to you.
You're the one who said it, not me.
So you still haven't asked why, but I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
And the reason is twofold. Number one, as a Christian, growing up in Sunday school, I was taught from the Bible, those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. And from my perspective, I want to be on the blessing side of things.
Of those who bless the government of Israel?
Those who bless Israel is what it says. It doesn't say the government of, it says the nation of Israel. So that's in the Bible. As a Christian, I believe that.
Where is that?
I can find it to you. I don't have the scripture off the tip of my. You pull out the phone and use the.
It's in Genesis, but so you're quoting a Bible phrase. You don't have context for it. And you don't know where in the Bible it is, but that's like your theology. I'm confused. What does that even mean,
Tucker?
I'm a Christian. I want to know what you're talking about.
Okay. Where does my support for Israel come from? Number one, because biblically we're commanded to support Israel. But number two,
Well, hold on.
I'm not holding on.
Hold on. You're a senator, and now you're throwing out theology, and I am a
I love the hand waving though. No, because this is what they do. This is what they do. No one. The beautiful thing about this interview is it really is just it was just asking follow-ups. I mean, yeah, he got snarky, he got a little shitty. I mean, but it added some fun to it. I mean, it wasn't over too much. I mean, it was contentious. He did a good job of riding the line to where he didn't overdo it. But it really just came down to just follow-ups. So it was like he just didn't let people get away with just saying cliche shit that you don't just go, okay, what do you mean by that? Okay, well, what does that mean? Okay, well, let's follow this logic to the conclusion. And there's a few examples that we'll even get to where they'll say one thing and then later say another thing that basically completely flies in the logic of the other thing and not even recognize it because these are just cliches that are stamped into their head they don't even really think about. These are just their 0101 fucking logical pathway answers that they just realize like oh no these things conflict because they've never even bothered to even think about the word choice fucking tree that they they made. They don't think about the internal logic. They just think about give me thing to regurgitate, give me thing to say. That is it. But let's go on.
And I am allowed to weigh in on this. We are commanded as Christians to support the government of Israel.
We are commanded to support Israel. And what
does that mean, Israel?
We're told those who bless Israel will be blessed.
But hold on, define Israel. This is important. Are you kidding? This is a majority Christian country.
Define Israel? Do you not know what Israel is? That would be the country you've asked 49 questions about.
So that's what Genesis, that's what God is talking about.
The nation of Israel, yes.
And is that the current borders, the current leadership? He's talking about the political entity called Israel?
He's talking about the nation.
You see how ridiculous that sounds, right? You're literally talking about political entity. That's what the Bible's talking about.
Of Israel. Yet nations exists, and he's discussing a nation. A nation was the people of Israel.
Is the nation
They're the
God's
descendants of
referring
Abraham.
to in Genesis, is that the same as the country run by Benjamin Netanyahu right now?
Yes.
It is. Okay.
And by the way, it's not run by Benjamin Netanyahu as a dictator. It's a democratic country that elected.
He's the prime minister,
right? But just like America is the country run by Donald Trump. No, actually, the American people elected Donald Trump. The same principle
This is silly. I'm talking about the political entity of modern Israel.
Yes, and that is
believe
Israel.
That's what God was talking about in Genesis.
I do, but
that country's existed since when?
For thousands of
1946, by the way. I love this. This is so good.
Years. Now, there was a time when it didn't exist, and then it was recreated just over 70 years ago.
I'm saying, I think most people understand that line in Genesis to refer to the Jewish people, God's chosen people.
That's not what it says.
Okay. Israel, but you don't even know where in the Bible it is. So I
don't remember the scriptural citation. But okay,
it's like Genesis 16 or something like that. But yes, it's in the earlier part of the book. But the point is,
all right, Tucker, you keep interrupting me before I finish my sentence.
It's important to know what you're talking about. I don't know what so you're saying as a Christian, if I believe in Jesus, I have to support the modern state of Israel?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm explaining for me what my motivation is.
But okay, so I'm just trying to understand. You said God tells you to support the modern state of Israel in the Bible, in some place in the Bible that you heard about, but you don't know where it is. That's your theology?
You're going back, am I a sleazy feline again? I mean,
if you accuse me of anti-Semitism again, I will say that, but I don't think you will.
Try to be a little less condescending. I'm trying to have a conversation.
Condescending. You're throwing this stuff out, and it's my job to figure out what you're talking about, but I don't understand.
But you're not letting me.
Okay. I'm sorry. I want to be polite.
That is, for me, a personal motivation, but I also, what I was about to say, I don't believe my personal faith, not everyone who I represent is a Christian. It's not an argument for me to give that we should do this because of my faith. And so as an elected official, I don't give that as the reason we should support Israel. That is a personal.
Okay. Pretty great. I thought this was just amazing, and I don't even know how this didn't click to me before. Like, 'cause there's so many things like this throughout this interview. These different things you go, oh, you were just inconsistent, or just kind of ridiculous when you look back at it. You're like, oh my God, like I can't believe you would say this then say that. These things just do not comport. And here's another example of it. He goes, so it's like this guy Harry Bergeron, who's Yeah, just kind of one of these accounts that just kind of blew up. So good for you, pal. Nobody that I know of. But he says, Ted Cruz on why we should bomb Iran. Reason 1, it's run by religious zealots who believe the Quran commands them to attack the United States. Reason 2, God says we have to. It says right there in the Bible. So it's like, yeah, it's all this shit is projection. It's quite astounding. All right, let's roll the chat, see what you guys have to say. I don't know. Do you guys get as much glee out of watching this guy destroy that guy as I do? So, yeah. Let's scroll through thing. The whole Christian Zionist thing is from a cult of Protestants, so it's completely heretical if you believe in that kind of thing. Yep. Cruz and Carlson, 2 Freemason brothers putting on a play? Probably. You're probably not wrong. I mean, I definitely, that was one of the first things I think we talked about in Already Dead the other day. Like, this guy's got some things to be suspect about, but hey, I'll take it. Whatever. It's just as soon as he shifts over to whatever. Same thing with Sean Ryan. Sean Ryan, surprisingly, I haven't heard exactly what he said, but I've seen a few little tweets there, and he seemed to be surprisingly actually pretty good on this whole Iran thing. So I'll take it. I mean, it's an influential guy, but I will still also go, dude's probably fed, so be aware when he falls, the next thing. There's at some point, I feel like they're going to give him the call, because the next thing's coming. We need you. So keep an eye out for the next thing. But it just looks like this isn't the next thing for them, so we're good. Boom. This was brutal to watch. I'm not a huge fan of Tucker, but I think Cruz is so deep in his delusion he thought this would be a praising interview. Yeah, I don't know what he thought was happening here. I don't know. I mean, the only thing I can think of is maybe this was something scheduled a while back, and then he just didn't think about, world events and or anything like that. I don't know. He just kind of, because let's be real, if you're Ted Cruz and you scheduled a interview with Tucker Carlson weeks before the Iran thing happened, and you're just kind of like, under normal circumstances, yeah, you probably think there'd be a little bit contentious, because you are Ted Cruz, you are kind of like, to some extent, identified with like somewhat the swamp in DC, so like you could see a Tucker Carlson interview being a little contentious, but not that bad. So maybe it was just a scheduling thing where it's just, Tucker locked up and it's like, oh, cool. I'm going to get Ted Cruz at the exact moment when it would be really great to just fucking destroy somebody right now. And just make them look pathetic for their support of Israel. And looky here, I have Ted Cruz on the schedule today. So that's the only thing that makes sense to me, because if he took this interview, like, say it was like day of, let's say Tucker hit him up and was like, oh, big stuff happening, you should come on the show and talk about this. Then yeah, Tucker's a retard if that's the case. But I could totally see this being like a trick of like, they got scheduled a while back and just didn't think about it. So. Robin says, I hate to use a J card, but as a J, let me clarify the quote-unquote chosen people BS. God didn't choose only Jews. God sent angels out everywhere, but at that particular time, Abraham was the only one who... And then it goes off. I don't know what you're talking about, but it sounds pretty Jewy, Robin. Seems like a problem if our elected politicians view their possible salvation as being based on serving another country. By the way, just to be clear, Robin, I love you. That was a joke. As with the religious text, sociopaths and psychopaths twist the words to get power and do what they want, says Doctori. God wants everyone to follow his path, not just Jews. That's a ridiculous notion that he would pick one group. Exactly. I mean, I'm not even religious, but that is like, even as a non-religious person, that's like, well, I mean, if your God's like basic, I know that doesn't make sense. That doesn't really make sense for a deity to do. So it just kind of seems ridiculous. Even when I was religious, and especially considering there are ways to understand these biblical doctrines to not be like, oh, I guess I gotta suck Jew cock. Like, there are other ways to understand this. So it's like, if you're taking these words and going, guess I gotta suck Jew cock, then I feel like maybe you just really want to suck Jew cock at some point. Like, I don't know. Grow up at the very least, and maybe, I don't know, go, oh, I'm being told by preacher man I need to suck Jew cock. Could you at least like show me the verses, and then maybe I'll decide whether instead of just going, yep, okay, sir, sucking that Jew cock. Like, what the fuck? I don't know. I mean, the idea that it's a knee-jerk fall in line because preacher man says seems a little cuck to me. My truth aligns perfectly with Netanyahu's Greater Israel plans, is aggressively agreeing. It's all just coincidental. That $2 million AIPAC money is also coincidental. Yep. Cruz contradicts himself like 6 times in less than 2 minutes. Yeah, it's insane. It's like, it's hard to keep up with. It's It's beautiful. It's glorious. So on that, let's I guess go ahead and go into one of those examples. And of course, it's doing the stupid audio thing again. So give me a second. I gotta set it up again. What a fucking asshole! I hate this stupid thing. All right, let me see. Okay, cool. All right, here we are. Should be good now. All right, let's watch this.
Are AIPAC's goals shaped by the goals of the Israeli government? And I'm just going to ask you a question straightforwardly. And if you say no, I think we both know that's not true.
Hey, are they shaped by?
Are they coordinating with the Israeli government?
Are they talking
to
with them?
represent
Yes.
the
Is
Israeli
Israel
government?
directing them? You want to talk about FARA, the law on lobbying on behalf of someone?
Yeah.
It is, I hire you and you lobby on behalf of me. I direct you. Does Israel direct AIPAC? No, they're not lobbying on behalf of them. Or do they care about them? Yes, but...
Or do you think that it's just interesting because what you're now describing in a very defensive way, I will say, is foreign influence over our politics.
No.
And you began, and it's so transparently obvious to everybody. I don't know why you would be embarrassed of it. You've said that you are sincerely for Israel. I believe you. I don't think you have some weird agenda. You seem to be sincere.
By the way,
I just want to take a moment real quick, take a pause and say thank you to Andrew Jacobs for sending a Rumble rant over on Rumble. He said, Thursday, it's Tower Gang Jose Thursday, motherfuckers. Fuck BB, fuck Trump, fuck Tim Pool, fuck Ted Cruz, fuck Ben Shapiro, fuck Randy Fine, fuck Rabbi Shmuley, fuck Leesburg, fuck the Melon Patch players. Yeah, I agree with basically pretty much all of that. Yeah, I'm trying to think of any of those I would even want to back off. No, pretty much, yeah, fuck all of those. I mean, I don't really, maybe there's some nice Melon Patch players, because those are the homos over in Leesburg that, were running the place. So, those are, not all of them. I'm pretty sure, they were somehow colluding with the local government, I think, to somehow get us kicked out of there. I forget exactly. So, I think, yes, I do think the Melon Patch people did play a part. So, to some extent, fuck them, but I don't know if I could say fuck all of them. But they are some sort of weird actor, local acting production, which something about that's weird and gay. So, I probably could just defer to fuck them. But I'm being a fair man and leaving an open possibility for there being some cool Melon Patch players. So, but for the rest of them, yeah, fuck. And I also same thing with Leesburg. The entire town of Leesburg's not responsible for that. But yeah, the rest of those people, yeah, they're pretty gay. But all right, thanks for the Rumble rant, Jacob. I do want to remind you guys that's something you can do if you guys do want to chip in money, or you can just do a regular subscription over at patreon.com/NoWayJose2020. Let's get back into this clip.
Tucker, it's a very weird thing. The obsession with Israel. When we're talking about foreign countries,
it's hardly an obsession.
You're not talking about Chinese. You're not talking about Japanese. You're not talking about the Brits. You're not talking about the French. The question: what about the Jews? What about the Jews?
Oh, I'm an anti-Semite now. Senator,
you're asking the questions, Tucker. You're asking.
Keep in mind when this interview is occurring, and if you actually watch an interview, I don't think Tucker ever once said Jews, or even really got particularly shitty. He just was asking honest questions, the sort of questions like, follow-up questions about things like AIPAC. So stuff that they would be like, well, why are you asking these questions? But, someone like me, I would have probably already given up the game by this point, and that I would have said some shit like, haha, Jew this, or made some off-color joke, or something. And then that way there is a small grain of truth. Now, I would rebut that, because I don't know. I'm not someone who's going to sit there and if anything, I'd probably laugh, probably call him a homo, something like that. I'd be like, are you kidding me? You're calling me anti-Semite. And I'd probably point out the ridiculous nature of how you're going to say that I'm obsessed with Israel at this point in time. But also, I just want to remind you guys where we are in today's discourse. This is the same tired Israel derangement syndrome line, but you can't fucking do this right now. Not when we were on the verge of going to war with Iran at the behest of Israel after they destroyed our peace talks, while they are in the midst of a genocide during a 5+ front war of mostly aggressive and pretty much all of them expansive, expansions of their land. So I don't know. I'm obsessed. Maybe I just have my priorities in line.
Why are the Jews controlling our foreign policy?
Senator,
that's what you just asked.
Hardly saying that, and I have.
That is exactly what you just said.
Well, actually, I can speak for myself and tell you what I am saying.
Good.
On behalf not simply of myself, but of my many Jewish friends who would have the same questions, which is to what extent, and It's interesting you're trying to derail my questions by calling me an anti-Semite, which you are.
I did not.
Of course you are. And
It's such a great, what a great, God, this is one of those moments, because like people don't realize, people get so scared. I'm so glad that we're past this point of like, oh no, you call me a racist? Oh no, a bigot, you say I don't like the gays? Oh no, I don't like the Jews? It's just like, grow up. Like, what, especially it's like, are you telling me, you say I'm lying? Is there some untruth to what I'm saying? Because if I'm saying something that's truthful and you're saying it's bigoted, racist, it's whatever, it's this, but it's the truth, then guess what? Then I guess by your logic, or then I am what those things, like by your own definition. That's fine. I'm fine with that. I don't care. Like why? Who cares? Who fucking cares? So what? I'm an anti-Semite. You can say that. I don't give a shit. Oh no, people might think I don't like Jews. My life is going to be so affected. Oh no. Like, just grow up. I've interacted with probably many Jews in my life and never had a problem with them. It's like, it seems to only really come up when we're talking about the murdering and of like, I don't know, like innocent people, and I don't know, dragging our country by the nose into war and destroying our dollar, and like, it's usually when that goes. Oh, guess you're an anti-Semite. Okay, sure, whatever. Oh no, I'm an anti-Semite. Ooh. But I'm just glad we're at this point where like you can just, I mean, even if you do want to maintain your like, I'm not, like Tucker is here, you can just kind of, like Tucker did, just kind of point it out, just kind of blatantly. Hey, this is pretty obvious. Like this is, I don't know. We'll go through this, and I think you guys will see. I think he even points out how insane it is, because I don't think it's in this clip, but like the earlier portion, but he had just earlier going on about how great and how much he loves Israel and blah blah blah. But let's go on.
And rather than be honorable enough to say it right to my face, you are in a sleazy feline way implying it, or just asking questions about the Jews. I'm not asking questions.
That's where the sleazy feline thing you guys might see going around, which is particularly funny. It's an odd insult, but I weirdly like it. Sleazy and feline. But anyways, yeah. That's you just saying that. You guys might be seeing that out there in the ether. That wording. That's where that's coming from. You might even see memes. I've seen some memes of Ted already as like in a cat suit. So. Yeah, he takes some. He doesn't like being called a sleazy feline, but it is just funny.
About the Jews, there's nothing to do with Jews or Judaism. It has to do with the foreign government.
Isn't Israel controlling our foreign policy? That's not about the Jews.
You said, I'm asking.
And by the way, you're the one that just called me, I think, a sleazy feline. So let's be clear.
It's sleazy to imply that I'm an anti-Semite, which you just did.
No, I just said, why is that the only question you're asking? You answer it. Give me another reason. If you're not an anti-Semite, give me another reason why the obsession is Israel.
I am in no sense obsessed with Israel. We are on the brink of war with Iran, and so these are valid questions.
But you're not asking about Iran or the
If I can finish, you asked me why I'm obsessed with Israel.
Yep.
3 minutes after telling me that when you first ran for Congress, you elucidated one of your main goals, which is to defend Israel.
Yes.
And I'm the one who's obsessed with Israel. I don't see a lawmaker's job as defending the interests of a foreign government, period. Okay. Any government, including the ones that my ancestors come from. So that's my position. That does not make me an anti-Semite. And shame on you for suggesting otherwise. And I mean that. And that's low, and you know it's low. So why don't you just answer my questions
I'll answer
in a straightforward, rational way? You certainly have the IQ to do it.
So shame on you is cute, by the way, Tucker.
It is. It's not cute. I'm offended. I'm obsessed with the Jews. You just told me
you just called me a sleazy feline.
It is sleazy to imply that I'm an anti-Semite for asking questions.
This is just such a ludicrous situation to be in. Like, he has him in such a. He has him by the short and curlies. You literally just spent, he had before this, as he pointed out here, in the clip before, going on about how, like, when he came to the Senate, that was his goal, to be, like, the leading voice for Israel in the Senate or whatever. And then he goes on not even a few minutes later to then go, oh, I just don't get what the obsession is here. And then it's like, what? What? The obsession? You joined you went to the Senate, the United States Senate, because you said one of your driving impetuses, maybe not the one, they get caught up on this later, whatever. Okay, even if this was a major impetus, it still is like clearly some sort of driving force behind you. And your whole thing was to be one of the leading voices for Israel. The idea that is even like in the top 5 to 10 of your major issues while you are a United States senator is insane.
It's about how my government is
You want to
run.
count how many questions you asked about? What about the Jews? What about Israel? What about
I
AIPAC?
never asked about the Jews. I have, this has nothing to do with the Jews, whatever that means. This has to do with a foreign government. And once again, shame on you for conflating the two. They have nothing to do with each other. I'm talking about the influence of
Israel and
See, and this is what they did right here. Oh, they have nothing. This is exactly what they rely on. They rely on the fact that that it has to come back to the Jew thing. It's a stupid fucking. It's just woke bullshit. It's the idea that like well they are Jewish, so therefore you can't question them. They are Jewish, so therefore everything is because of the Jewish aspect of it. Where it's like, frankly, you could swap out the religion, make them a-religious, whatever. This could be a Christian nation. If the facts are the ground the same, all the same. It's still fuck them.
Jews have nothing to do with each other.
All Jews, or an attack on all Jews, which I am not, nor would I ever be undertaking now. I'm not attacking anybody.
By the way, that's who Iran wants to kill, is all the Jews and all the
And then as they come back, don't forget, Iran wants to kill them all.
Americans.
And I'm totally opposed to that, okay? But now, because
Except you don't want to do anything about it.
decisions need to be made.
We can talk about those decisions.
And I plan to.
Good.
But I just want to get a sense of whether you think, having described yourself as an America First person whose only criterion for judgment on foreign policy is America's national interest, to what extent you're influenced by a foreign government, which gives you a lot of money through its lobby, and you're claiming this has nothing to do with the foreign government. They're not coordinating. Yes, they're spying on us, but it doesn't bother you. And I'm sort of wondering, like, what is this? This is one of the weirdest conversations I've ever had.
I'll tell you what, and I'll answer any question you like, but let's try to...
Are you going to call me an anti-Semite again, or no?
Let's try to ratchet down the temperature a little.
You're the one who went to motive. I'm asking honest questions.
I'm
just asking questions. Yes, that's it. That is what I'm doing.
Let's try...
He's so catty. It's funny. I love it. All right. And then doing him no favors, we have I don't know. I couldn't help but point this out. This is hilarious. Why the fuck would AIPAC, like, I don't know. How do you read the room? I just AIPAC couldn't not take the moment to go, hey, guess what, guys? Don't forget about us. So their official account goes, thank you, Ted Cruz, for being a champion of the U.S.-Israel relationship and advancing policies that strengthen a mutually beneficial alliance with Israel. AIPAC and our 5 million grassroots members from across the United States are proud to stand with pro-Israel leaders like you. And then it's just funny. They got it ratioed, so like 2x. Because that was a big thing in this one. I don't think I have any clips particularly on the AIPAC side of things. I highly recommend you guys go check this out. But it's just funny that was a big point of contention in the discussion. And then AIPAC just thought it was smart to go, yep, let's just gonna kind of jump up in here and go, yep, okay, let's remind everyone, yep, you're an AIPAC guy, as if they couldn't forget, and let's just get ratioed. I don't know, it's just funny. You would think that'd be the moment to go, hey, just shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. But let's, no, by the way, we'll play this real quick. I think this is the statement I've been referring to about how he talks about how he's a leading defender, which he's bragging about here. So let's go and play it.
You seem to...
By the way, Tucker, it's a very weird thing. The obsession with Israel. When we're talking about foreign countries,
it's hardly an obsession.
You're not talking about Chinese. You're not talking about Japanese. You're not talking about the Brits. You're not talking about the French. The question: what about the Jews? What about the Jews?
Oh, like I'm an anti-Semite now. Senator,
you're asking the questions, Tucker. You're asking, why are the Jews controlling our foreign policy?
Senator,
that's what you just asked.
Hardly saying that.
Okay, and that was part of the clip before, but he was referring to, he goes, I came to the Senate committed to being the leading defender of Israel, and I'm proud to have the support of groups like AIPAC and the American Jewish community who advocate on behalf of a close U.S.-Israel relationship. The obsession over American Jews participating in politics has to stop. Which there was much to do about squirreling around how this is a foreign, a foreign lobbying group. He goes, oh no, this is we're not lobbying on behalf of Israel. We're lobbying on behalf of relations between U.S. and Israel. So it was this Jew games, just more Jew games. Let's pop in the chat. Spend a minute. Let's see what you guys say. See, Marty McFly says, "What's up, Jose? Did you catch the Shah's daughter recently married a U.S. tech CEO that happens to be a Jay?" No, I didn't see that. No, I can't say. I haven't seen that. She recently married Bradley Sherman, a Jewish American entrepreneur. Sherman is the head of partnerships at Matternet, a commercial drone delivery company. Okay, all right. I'm assuming you're referring to what Marty was talking about before. Okay, maybe that there could be something there, I guess. I've also heard they may install the Shah's son. Yeah, why are you so obsessed with the foreign country that controls our government and dragging us into war through obvious blackmail, right? If the truth is racist, then I am racist as fuck. Exactly. That's my point. Yeah, like, oh no, not racist. Oh no, do you not like people? Do you not like people? Oh no. It's such as, I don't know. The older I get, the dumber, the more I hate when people go, oh, that's racist. I mean, depending on the context, because there's times you bring it up and you're like, oh, you're just being matter-of-factly. But if you're using this in like this, oh no, that's racist. It's just, I don't know. I guess maybe there's specific examples where it's like, I don't know, sure. I mean, I have seen examples in my life where I'm like, holy shit. Like, I think it was like my kid or somebody. I swear there was something where like, no, I remember what it was. It was in my kid's soccer once. There was this little kid. He was a nice, I think he was like a little Indian boy. And I joke about Indian stuff and stuff like that, but he was a nice little boy, nice kid. Might have been Indian, something else. And apparently there was some kid on another team calling him a little nigger. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like that, yeah, that was like, and it wasn't even that it was racist that was a problem. It's just shitty. Like, I don't care that it had anything to do with race. Like, I don't fucking care. I care that it was a nice little boy. He was a sweet kid. He didn't deserve that to happen to him. And regardless of his race, that has nothing to do with it. So if anything, so even then, I guess, even that example, I guess, it is kind of, I guess it's still matter-of-factly be like, yeah, that was racist. But it was more just like, that's shitty. Like, I don't care. That's why it's like the idea of the difference between mass murder and genocide. It's kind of like, it just feels gay. Just like, it's like, it should be bad enough just be like, yeah, they're killing a fuckload of people. Like, what difference does it make what their ethnicity is? And that's I don't know. So that's how I feel about whenever people bring up race. It just feels fucking gay. Happy to be your token J friend, says Robin. Yeah. See, you're the guy. You're the only person. Whenever I say I've had Jew friends, I mean I'm lying a little bit with the plural, and it's just you, Robin. I'm just kidding. Scrolling through. Iran has a huge population of Jews that even hold government positions. Oh shit. I like when some kid's mom comes in to defend them from their friends. I don't know what you're talking about. Horton embarrassing that Jersey girl idiot on Piers Morgan yesterday. Oh yeah, I saw that too. There was on Piers. There was I don't even know why they bring her on. I see her on things. I don't know what her name is, but she is so fucking stupid. And it seems to be, I mean, maybe it's just because, yeah, you have to some extent, you either have to be a liar or stupid or something or of low value, just willing to be corrupt. I don't know. You don't get the greatest when you're dealing with Zionists, but even still, it seems to be a frequent MO with some generically kind of cute-ish, like an 8, like maybe, or like a gassed up 7, I guess. It comes out and trots out all these Zionist talking points in like the dumbest, like Valley Girl, like type of way. And that seems to be the MO for the Zionists for some reason. I mean, maybe in the past this would have worked. I mean, maybe it is working. I don't know. Maybe the boomers are just really that fucking stupid and they go, pretty girl, she said Israel good. I don't know. I mean, it just seems, I'm astounded how often I see this, how often I tune into some sort of fucking Zionist, anti-Zionist thing, and there's some dumb fucking broad. And it's clearly just there because she's willing to say cliches and is kind of pretty. So, Cruz's physiognomy is starting to make sense, is aggressively agreeing. Calling someone racist is losing his power, says Liam Matthew Art. Exactly, yeah. Scrolling through. All right, let's get into the next clip here. Got lots of clips. This is from Sarah Gonzalez. Says, I will never forget this Tucker-Ted Cruz exchange for as long as I live. This is the one I think I was referring to earlier that I said was kind of funny and him being catty. So, but even then, how he plays it off, and even then, even while he's kind of being shitty, he still somehow is just really good presenter abilities and able to even still turn the crowd towards him. Because you'll see what I mean.
I'm asking about your allegation and the Prime Minister of Israel's allegation that
Iran is trying to murder the president.
Killing terrorists is a good thing. Killing people who are trying to murder Americans is a good thing. Because if you're America first,
You want to protect America, and so killing Osama bin Laden was a fantastic
But you don't
day
really
for the
believe
world.
that they're trying to murder Trump, or
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Then why aren't you calling for military action against Tehran right now?
Because they're not very effective. In terms of hitmen, their hitmen are not very effective. I do think...
So they're hitmen, but not the bad kind, the efficient kind?
No,
What are you saying?
They're a weak country who is on its knees, and I think we need to...
Then why are we so afraid of them? Why are they the biggest threat if they're a weak country that's on its knees?
Because they're trying...
I'm trying to keep track.
They're trying to develop... Be a little less snarky.
I know, you're right. That is a problem that I have. I'm sorry.
That's exactly what... I don't know why. That tiny little that exchange right there, I don't know. I guess maybe it's just because I see it, because I do that a lot. I mean, you'll even see if you ever watch me argue with people. Like, I don't know, I had some Hasbara account that I was arguing with like a few weeks ago or some shit, and like I was just talking shit. And then like they said something funny, and I just go, yeah, you're right, good job, Hasbara account. And then I just kind of stopped interacting. Cause I know there's these funny little kind of like moments where if you're just honest and like you convert it into comedy, like it just is great, like that right there. Because that was like a self-aware. Okay, you're right. Like that's a bit much, but it's I don't know, just great. Just I don't know. I guess a stupid note to bring up here, but I guess as a presenter like myself, and also I guess someone who does engage or used to engage in the comedy sphere and stuff, just good job, really good. They're just they're just really just slick move. So. All right, let's follow up on what I really wanted to get into, and then because he brought up the hitmen here, which is one point of contention. I've had Ken on the show before to talk about this, but here's Ken saying, pointing out that the hitmen they're referring to were undercover FBI agents. I know, like I said, we have covered this, but it's a recap because I barely recall this. So, Asif Merchant, the Pakistani man busted for hiring 2 undercover FBI agents to be hitmen in an Iranian-sponsored assassination plot against Donald Trump, has been held in solitary confinement under freezing cold, squalid conditions since his July 12th arrest. He hasn't been able to review his own discovery at all, nor has he even been able to talk to his family. This is the case that people like Mike Walls are trying to tie to Butler in an order putting Merchant on extreme restrictions. BOP Director Colette Peters admitted that law enforcement has not identified any IRGC, the Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps associates of Merchant, operating in the U.S. who could continue to orchestrate violent acts. Seems like they're trying to keep a lid on this case, which has the hallmarks of entrapment. So essentially, one of the things they point to, and this has been a thing since it started, they've been trying to connect the Iran-Trump assassination dots ever since they started, from the jump. And they're trying again, and that was one of the big things that, I don't know if we've talked about on this show, but Netanyahu in one of his statements literally said too, and this came up in the discussion between Ted Cruz and it, which is why we're kind of referring to it now. It came up a couple times. This is it's bullshit. It's been bullshit from the jump. They're still trying to make bullshit, but I don't know. It's like, was the idea like from the jump that this was something they were going to tie and they just aren't willing to let it go? Because it's just over and over again, it gets asserted with no real proof. But then again, I guess this is the game. Like people say these things over and over again, lie over and over again, don't get called on them. And at a certain point, they just become part of the public lexicon. They become, the cliches that you just come to mind when you think of things like Iran or Israel. Israel, the greatest ally. Iran, the nexus of evil. Whatever. And from there, then you operate in the world. And most people don't really dig into this stuff. So you just hear the talking voices repeat the lines over and over again. And so you go, I guess that's the thing. No, complete bullshit. This is so they keep trying to make this to connect these dots. And don't let it happen. Keep pointing out bullshit, which is what Tucker did, which is good. And it was pretty pathetic what he tried to do to try to skirt around it. So you guys can go dig into this more on your own. Ken has written on this extensively. There's more here. Here is, Ken breaks out that Bibi and his Republican lackeys, Iran was behind the assassination attempts. And he points out, this is the second one, so the Butler one was bullshit too. But in the Ryan Routh own words, Iran wouldn't even let him come in. So you can see an excerpt, and this is in Ryan Routh's own words. This is the second attempted assassination. He said, I had applied for a visa many times to go and protest against sanctions, and how I had wished it had been granted, if for nothing more than to protest with them for the death of their fellow man. So even Ryan Routh couldn't even get to Iran. So there's no connection between that one. Complete bullshit. All right. Hi, guys. Highly recommend go check out that interview. It was, like I said, frankly, probably one of the best interviews of our age. So, yeah. All right. Let's roll through the chat, see what all you guys have to say. And then we'll get into the next story. Tom3C says Cruz's voice sounds just like Shapiro. I don't even mean his literal voice or my fake voice. I only have so many, voices. So it is what it is. Pretty girl, agree with me, Durr, says Hustle Bones. Yep, that's how it works. Unfortunately, if if you got them big old Jew titties, you can run it, says Doctor420. It's all with just the same tired talking points they always use. They can't even come up with anything new, says Bug Fights. Exactly. Tucker has class, whether you like him or not. He sure does. Yep. Nobody gives them the people the rope to hang themselves these days like Tucker, says Tom33. Yep. Which, and keep in mind, as I'm saying all this, I think it wouldn't be surprised at all if this guy's a CIA asset of some sort. So, but yeah, it says Tucker does have a gift for walking them right into the news. Exactly, dude. He's got a gift for it, and it's kind of impressive. If Iran was trying to kill Trump, we would have glassed the whole place by now. Yep, exactly. Drop some likes, people, says WiseOut130. 100% people, make sure to give likes. Help boost this channel. That way we can tell other people about this shit. All right, let's get into a little bit into influencers and kind of where they're at, because I think it matters. And let's see where Theo Vaughn is on the Iran war. I've seen this do the rounds. I haven't watched it myself. Figured I'd watch it with you guys.
A war with Iran or not, America, if Israel is trying to, I don't trust the Israel leader at all. I don't believe anything that guy says. And I don't think that our soldiers should have to go and defend stuff that they start. I'm not a soldier, so I'm obviously speaking out of turn. I'm not even brave enough to serve, so there's that element. But that is kind of how I feel, I guess. And so it's like, yeah, when do I speak? When do I say that? You know? Because it feels like they're trying to push Trump to go do that. And it's like, who makes that choice? Does he make that choice? And then what do we get? You know, what's the win for us? We're just involved in some other thing while we have suffering here at home. So maybe something like that is like, yeah, should I even speak up? Because I'm not in service. Servicemen and women may be like, we'll do, you know, and that's their commitment and their job. But yeah, I don't know. That guy really scares me. And I don't know why we support them. I don't understand that. I wish they would really give us a better explanation, you know, especially after the massacres in Gaza. I don't understand. I do not understand that. And some people say, well, you don't know enough about it. It may not. But it's like, can I still speak about it? Can I speak about how I feel about it? You know, moments like that, like when.
Frankly, I think that's kind of the voice of the nation right now. I think that's kind of where most people are at. I think most people are just normal people who haven't looked into this a ton, don't know the ins and the outs, but they kind of are from the outside looking in. I think, especially after all the ado about Gaza and such, and now we're just kind of whiplash into this Iran thing, and people are just kind of. I think a lot of rational people who don't really pay much attention to this stuff are starting to pay a little bit of attention, and I think they're picking up things and going, what the fuck is going on here? This seems a little bizarre. At least that's the impression I'm getting. Let me know if you guys agree. More on the people that are seemingly not going along with the game. Here is Matt Gaetz, who could have been our Attorney General. It's kind of seeming like maybe there were reasons why that's not the case. And I'm kind of astounded. This fucking terrifying looking man this was where he's at. So let's go and hear what he has to say.
Kicked out IAEA, but Matt, Iran has kicked out IAEA inspectors. There could be portions of their nuclear program that are secret. a nuclear secret in the Middle East. How about it? If the world is interested in a secret nuclear program in the Middle East, there is a country that won't allow any international inspectors. Israel. Israel has a nuclear weapon. Did you know that? I do. They allow no inspections. They are fully secretive and clandestine about it, and the Americans are fully aware. You know what? I don't even blame Israel for this. If they want to develop a nuclear weapon, if they had the blessing to do so secretly, I'm not in judgment of that. But to drag the world into a regime change war over secret nuclear weapons, when you have secret nuclear weapons, is a bit hypocritical. So here's the deal. How about Iran and Israel both give up their secret nuclear weapon programs? If Trump got that deal, he wouldn't only get the Nobel Peace Prize, they'd probably name it the Trump Peace Prize forevermore. And it's not that crazy to think about Israel denuclearizing.
I mean, 100%. I mean, given it's the idea, honestly, the idea that we haven't just fucking go, fuck you, a long time ago, and go, you want shit from us? Denuclearize now. Or you can be your own fucking country that takes care of itself. Because that's one of the things, too. From my understanding, when it comes to essentially being a nuclear nation, that you have different responsibilities now. You aren't able to play this satellite nation game of like, well, I'm just this other nation's bitch anymore. Like, you don't get to do that. You aren't able to. There's certain aid you're not able to get. Like, I think we're not able to send military aid to nuclearized nations, so they don't want this. But so it's like, okay, you choose one. Either you got to get off our teat, or you got to get rid of those nukes. You need to be how Iran is right now. We should be having discussions with you about making sure you're compliant with IAEA and investigations, or whatever the fuck they call them. Inspections, not investigations. So, yeah.
Look at the model in South Africa. South Africa denuclearized right before they stopped being an apartheid state. Prominent voices in Israel and America have called for Trump to recognize Israel's sovereignty over Judea and Samaria, which some people call the West Bank. If that happens, Israel will have to let the 5 to 6 million people who live there vote. And they don't want to do that. I'm not calling Israel an apartheid state. Right now, I don't think they are. But if they are ruling the West Bank, as the neocons would suggest, then the South Africa model for denuclearization is not totally off base. There's a certain bravado at the beginning of a Middle East regime change war. There's enthusiasm, bold predictions of swift victory, and usually a total misunderstanding of what happens next. Oh, Iraq wasn't prepared. Daisy cutter? This is how easily the so-called foreign policy experts believed we would carve our way through Iraq. I saw how many of our bravest patriots were pushing up daisies as a consequence of that war. I went to their funerals. I visited their grave sites. I saw the true cost of a flawed regime change war in the Middle East. The problem is we had no plan to get out. Iraq cost America $3 trillion, and this distraction and disaster aided in both the rise of China and ISIS. Whoever was telling you that we had the ability to topple a regime in Iraq and then come out with something better was either one, lying to you, or two, so wholly ignorant about the country they were invading that their lack of knowledge or curiosity or understanding led to blood and terrorism and chaos. So as we approach the 2025 vintage of regime change wars in Iran, I wonder if those now cheerleading attacks on Iran know anything about the country they want to topple.
Bravo. Good on Matt Gaetz. Yeah, I mean, he's a character I'm a little bit suspicious of, but generally he's pretty much on the right side of things typically, and here he is on the right side of things. So props. Here is, I figured that this has been one I've had bookmarked for a little while. I just figured this is actually a good time to play it. Makes sense. This is Mehdi Hassan kind of driving home the nuke point.
How many nuclear weapons does Iran have as of today?
Right now, I hope none.
Okay, how many does Israel have?
No idea.
No idea? You were in the government. They don't tell you that stuff.
No idea.
Who do they tell?
No idea.
Do you recognize the hypocrisy of Israel having a secret illicit nuclear weapons program that it won't open up its doors to and won't talk about, and then lecturing everyone else in the region about nuclear weapons?
Absolutely not. You know why?
You talked about hypocrisy. If an Iranian guest came on my show and I asked him about Iran's nuclear program, he said, I don't know, I'm not going to talk about it. Would you be okay with that? You'd be outraged.
Of course.
And yet you sit here as a former minister of the Israeli government saying, oh, I don't know, never talked about nuclear with anyone.
Because there was like 16 United Nations Security Council resolutions against Iran.
And there is against Israel. And there is against Israel as well.
About
your nuclear program.
No.
Yes, there is. UN Resolution 487. Let me read it to you. The UN Security Council in 1981 says, calls upon Israel urgently to place its nuclear facilities under the safeguards of the IAEA. Why haven't you done that?
Because
Iran has never attacked a neighbor. Israel has repeatedly attacked its neighbors. Iran signed the Non-Proliferation Treaty. Israel has refused to sign. Iran submits to inspection by the International Nuclear Energy Agency. Israel refuses to submit. Iran has no nuclear weapons. Israel has between 75 and 400 nuclear weapons. So Israel poses an existential threat to Iran. For the last 40 years, Israel has conducted a systematic campaign of disinformation about Iran. Why the lies? Why the double standards? Why the hypocrisy?
Good shit. Yeah, I've been meaning to play that one for a while. That really drives the home point of why the fuck do these guys get nukes? What's with the double standard? I mean, hell, Iran's been much better actors than Israel has. Here is Trump. This is kind of, I guess, a little bit of a bookend here on kind of the discussion between Tucker and Ted, and then I guess kind of also like the, how do I put this? The I don't know, the rift between Tucker and Trump. So I guess there's essentially, this is Loomer saying apparently that she sent out a video, put out a clip of Trump saying something about there being an apology of some sort. So it's kind of throwing it in his face. So let's watch this. I think it kind of speaks for itself. We don't really need that dumb broad to give us any talk for it. Let's go and play this.
Have you seen the Tucker Carlson and Senator Ted Cruz interview? It seems like this issue on whether or not the United States should strike is kind of dividing a lot of your supporters.
No, my supporters are for me. My supporters are America first. They make America great again. My supporters don't want to see Iran have a nuclear weapon. Tucker's a nice guy. He called and apologized the other day because he thought he said things that were a little bit too strong, and I appreciated that. And Ted Cruz is a nice guy. I mean, he's been with me for a long time. I'd say once the race was over, he's been with me ever since, right? But very simple. If they think that it's okay for Iran to have a nuclear weapon, then they should oppose me, but nobody thinks it's okay.
I mean, that's a wrong way of framing it either, because even, I don't know. I guess I don't know what Tucker said about the nukes particularly, but, I mean, I think most of us aren't even really saying that I'm okay. I mean, I'll be honest, actually. I'll be honest. I'm okay with Iran having nukes. I'd prefer they didn't. So, like, this idea of, like, posturing and saying, you don't get nukes, and, like, to some extent, I'm, like, kind of okay with it. The whole idea, like, keep them from having nukes, and, like, but, like, now, do I really actually want to impose violence on them in any way to stop it? Would I be willing to risk war or anything? No. Like, no. I mean, I think maybe you should try to create incentives that, give them reasons not to want to do it, much like they've said, I don't know, if we just didn't attack them and we dropped sanctions, they would denuclearize. So there's all sorts of other ways to go about this. So, yeah, it's really, I don't want them to have a nuclear weapon, so it's not really a right way to frame it. But the thing is, I think most of us don't even think they really have one, and including their intelligence agency. So, but it is interesting. He's talking about how that Tucker called and apologized, said he said things maybe a little too strong. Now, what that means, I don't know. I don't think he said anything too strong at all. If anything, I think he went too soft, but I get the game he's playing. I mean, I think he is, to some extent, friends with Trump, so I understand him trying to be measured in his response. But, like, for example, I know Ted Cruz, it almost seemed like he was trying to be like, oh, I'm going to get you in a gotcha here, and then you're going to fuck up. Like, it almost seemed like he was trying to fuck up his relationship with Trump. He brought up, at one point, he mentioned, they were talking about, like, Putin or somebody or Khamenei, and being like, oh, yeah, like, world leaders kill people or whatever. And then he got all up like, oh, what is this moral equivocation or whatever? Oh, do you think Trump kills people? And it's like, yeah. Yes, like that would have been the correct answer. He kind of had to go, well, of course there's a difference, and like, he's like, there's no moral equivalence, like, when they kill people, it's a lot different when we do it or something, and like, so Tucker is sort of like, yeah, of course it's different, whereas somebody like me would go, yeah, no, he's killed people. Like, probably, well, we just had that report on what the Houthi striking campaign, and it was like that campaign itself killed more innocent people than have died in like 20 years, I think, from our campaigns in Houthi over in Yemen or some shit, like something crazy. So it's like we were just straight up just in mass basically murdering civilians over there. Like what, we killed like 80 of them, I think, in that one double tap thing that was on the fucking fuel port that then we like double tapped and got the fucking emergency workers after. It's like, yeah, that is Trump murdering people. That's what that is. I mean, you might go, well, they needed to be murdered. Okay, but he's murdering people. I mean, that was from him. I mean, okay, you could say it wasn't really from him, but that's his responsibility. So yeah, he's been killing people. But anyways, point being is, I guess Tucker did give him some sort of apology, but he is, like I said, he's playing this game where he's clearly trying to appeal to the better side of Trump. So to completely burn it and destroy his ego, I mean, I get the game he's playing a little bit gay, but whatever. But I just throw that out there. There is some sort of apology. So there's lots of different ways you could read that. Like, hey, they're still somewhat friendly. Maybe that moved, Trump a little bit. I don't know. I have no idea. It's hard to read. All right, let's go through the chat, and then we have one more topic, and then we'll get into the reading at the end of today, and then we'll get out of here. Let's see what you guys got to say. All right. I prefer nobody had nukes, but am I going to do anything about it? No, exactly. Yep. Bro, North Korea has nukes. India people who still eat literal shit have them. Yeah, exactly. Like, do I care? Jose, do you have a power chat? What is a power chat? I don't know what a power chat. Do you mean like a Telegram or some sort of chat specifically for like patrons or something? Or you mean like some way to pay? If you mean someone to pay, the only way to really do that is Rumble, because I'm demonetized on YouTube because I said slightly nice things about the Confederacy at one point, which is retarded. But on Rumble, you can leave me Rumble rants if you do want to give me money, or you can. You can do a one-time thing over at Patreon too. But I mean, obviously, then I wouldn't bring it up on the chat because I would have no way of knowing that. But yeah, those are your options. So. Don't use Power Chat. Nick Fuentes, Base Alaska, use the docs. Okay, I guess that's a thing that people use for super chats. Okay, no, I don't have Power Chat. I guess then. I didn't know what that meant. When everybody has them, they can be used. They can be banned as a collective agreement. Presently, nukes is a tool of bullies, and that drives people to get them to stop it. Exactly. Yeah. So I don't particularly care if Iran has nukes. I don't think they're going to use them any more than any other state would particularly use them. If anything, I think. Actually, I don't know. I don't know if I was going to say if more of them have them, I think they'd be less likely to be used, but I'm not entirely sure. So I don't know. It's something I have to think of. But either way, make a Telegram, Jose. That is in the works. There was somebody recently who hit me up, said they were going to set up one. So there should be a Telegram. So keep an eye out. Or if somebody else wants to get on that quicker than the other guy, let me know. Or you can wait for me to do it, and then it'll probably never get done. Those are your options. So... but I do look forward to being able to talk with you guys, because I actually did learn to like the Telegram a little bit over at the Tower Gang one, so it'll be cool to hang out with y'all. All right, let's get into this. This is from Doctori420, referring to the apparently there was a break-in at the home of the assassinated Minnesota lawmaker. So, I mean, obviously, like, let's be real. What does that look like? That looks like the feds getting back in there and fucking with evidence. So... here we go. This is Minnesota police responded Wednesday morning to the home of Minnesota State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark, who were both killed over the weekend, to report of a break-in. The Hortman home had been boarded up early Sunday after being processed by crime scene investigators the day prior. Brooklyn Park Police said per ABC News, family members went to the home on Tuesday to remove valuables. They were alerted to a break-in at 8 a.m. on Wednesday that occurred overnight. Authorities at the scene found the plywood covering the broken back window of the home had been pried off. The home was once again processed by crime scene investigators for evidence of the burglary. The home appeared to have been searched by an unknown individual. However, the family has indicated that they don't believe anything is missing, police said. Authorities have requested that anyone in the area check their surveillance footage and call the police department with any information they may have. Vance Bolter has been charged with the killings of Melissa and Mark Hortman, as well as the shootings of State Senator John Hoffman and his wife, Yvette. Bolter is accused of going to the Hoffman household in Champlin in the early hours of June 14th. He allegedly posed as a police officer, knocked on their door, and when the Hoffmans attempted to close the door on him, he shot them. Bolter is accused of going to two other lawmakers' homes before going to the Hortman household in Brooklyn Park. Authorities had already been made aware of the shooting at the Hoffman household and went to the Hortmans' home to conduct a safety check. They saw Bolter standing near the front door of the home and shot several times, striking Hortman's husband. Okay, that's weird. Okay, I mean, I guess just a little bizarre. So they shot at Bolter, I guess, but they ended up hitting Hortman's husband. Okay, several more shots were fired at Bolter as Bolter rushed into the home, striking Representative Hortman. Both were killed. Authorities found in Bolter's car, which made... Okay, so were the Hortmans the one who killed, or the Hoffmans? Okay, let me scroll back. Because the Hortmans, okay, they were killed. Okay, so the Hortmans are the one that killed. There was the Hoffmans, the ones that were shot later. So the Hortmans is... This looks like they shot them at the Hortmans. This is... Okay, no, but they'd gone to Hoffmans first, then they went to the Hortmans. Okay, that makes sense now. So they started the Hoffmans. I think he shot them is what I'm understanding, but they're fine, I guess. And then they go to the Hortmans, and then when they go to the Hortmans, at one point, they see Bolter standing near the front door of the home. They shot several times, and they didn't hit Bolter, they hit the husband. So that makes this weird, too. So, and that's the husband that ended up being dead later. So I don't know, did that contribute to the death? I don't know. Several more shots were fired at Bolter as Bolter rushed into the home, striking Representative Hortman. So, okay, so the cops shot both of them is what it sounds like. Both were killed. Okay. Authorities found in Bolter's car, which was made to look like a police vehicle, a list of additional lawmakers and their addresses. Bolter was taken to custody Sunday night after a multi-day hunt. Okay, that's definitely weird, for sure. It gets weirder, which I think we talked about this a little bit on Already Dead, but here we go. Apparently, Valence Bolter pulled according to Parapower Mapping, he pulled a Lorne Malvo. He pulled a Lorne Malvo on the New Hope officer, which I think that's from Fargo. I've definitely seen it, so I know the scene he's referring to. I just forget specifically what it's from. It is like because I'll actually say it here in a second, but that confronted him outside another lawmaker's home in between shooting Senator Hoffman and killing Representative Hortman and her husband. To some, Bolter was confronted by cops twice, all who failed to stop him. And so when I say a Lorne Malvo, here we go. There's like a meme here. And this is what Billy Bob Thornton. There's this like scene where this cop pulls up. I forget what exactly had happened. I think it was like he had just clearly killed someone or something, and the cop is like unaware of what's going on, but kind of responding a little bit of a weird situation. I don't even know if they've even seen a body, or I forget exactly what happened. Like, so the cop's not even fully aware. So he's just showing up to some sort of something, a little bit kind of like, what's going on here? And then I think he does then try to talk. You can even see in this photo the light reflecting. So it's like the cop doing the like, pulling up to your window thing. And then Billy Bob Thornton's character goes, "We could do it that way. You ask me for my papers. I tell you it's not my car, that I borrowed it. See where things go from there. We could do that, or you could get in your car and drive away." Now, obviously, Bolter didn't literally say that, but the idea is that literally there was a cop that that literally approached Bolter and essentially some sort of thing like this. So, and how we know this is Seth. So, in the reporting, this is from Seth Kaplan. He says, acting U.S. Attorney Joseph Thompson, after shooting Hoffman, Bolter went to the home of a Maple Grove lawmaker. So now there's an other person. So this is in between. So this is even more confusing. So you have the Hoffmans, the ones who survived, but I guess got shot at. And then in between it, they go to this other home of some Maple Grove lawmaker, whatever that means. And then after, they go to the Hoffmans, who end up getting shot in some sort of shootout where it sounds like, according to the reporting, that the cops somehow also clipped them. Whether that contributed to them dying or not, we're unaware. But anyways, so yeah, there's an in-between one too. The state representative wasn't home. She and her family were on vacation. He then went to the home of a Minnesota state senator in New Hope. A New Hope officer arrived. So there was another place. So I guess we're talking like 4 different places at least. The New Hope officer believed Bolter was an officer sent to the scene. Bear in mind, this guy's wearing an insanely creepy fucking mask that we've shown put on the show multiple times. I don't have it right now. So he pulled up next to him, rolled down the window, and tried to speak to him. He didn't respond. He just stared straight ahead. So that creepy fucking mask, some cop literally pulled up to him and tried to talk to him. Guy rolled down his window, looked straight ahead, said nothing. And I guess at some point he just moved on. This is according to acting U.S. Attorney Joseph Thompson. So creepy. So that's what they're saying. It's like that, I think, Fargo scene. Yeah, wild shit. That is creepy, which is like, I don't even understand how you... I mean, this guy's wearing this creepy mask. I get it's late, it's dark, but I don't know. I really think it was like I think the cop... I mean, if assuming that this is true, I mean, okay, this doesn't mean anything necessarily crazy was going on here, aside from I do think we may have legitimately got some sort of cop pulls up, sees some shit, and just in his head goes, nope, 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 nope. Okay, I'm going to take the out and get the fuck out of here. That's how I interpret this. So either way, it's kind of astounding to see that be the case. But all right, let's go through the chat, and then we're going to continue our reading of the Dutroux piece that we've been reading lately, and then we will get out of here. And I will see you all tomorrow. Scrolling through chats. Nuke-armed countries are the guy that shows up to parties acting an ass and waving a gun. Yep. Story reminds me of the LAPD officer who they say went rogue one day and they cornered him in his home and burned him down with it in it. Was that the black guy? That's not the black guy. That's not Dorner, was it? All right. Scrolling through. All right, let's get into let's finish off this Dutroux series, guys. Let's do it. All right, let's jump right into it. We left off at Eyes Wide Open. All of this leads us back to where we were, with gendarme Marc Toussaint and his investigation. Patrick Heimer's widow, Denise Tillac, a former French prostitute, was now dating Roland Potier, a petty criminal. Malou tells Toussaint about the parties held at Malo, that in 1994 a fetish party was supposed to be held for New Year's Eve, but it was canceled last minute by local authorities, and so it had to be moved somewhere else. But other parties followed, and the vibe was always mysterious, a la Eyes Wide Shut, with every attendee wearing a mask or a hood with leather clothing, and all of them were bourgeois or from noble families, judging from the cars parked out front. All right. We're now in June 1995. Toussaint has been interviewing some of the girls hired by Farid, who was running the Malou with Delhouven. Despite it only really making money during the summer, the place was always hiring new girls. It was a cover for the pimping activities of Farid, who was always seen driving expensive cars and spending absurd amount of money. He provided the women, and Delhouven provided the clients, old wealthy men with a taste for BDSM. Besides Bernadette and Sonia, another girl, Isabel, stepped up and accused Farid of being a pimp. She said he had tried to make her boyfriend get into his scene and make money off her, and that even if she filed a complaint against him, he was backed by the local police and untouchable. Farid was a close friend of the Forest Police Commissioner. He also used fake names and addresses to cover his tracks. Isabel had learned of Farid through his former girlfriend, Natalie. Both girls spoke of sex parties in the Malou. Natalie talks about a BDSM event where she gave out drinks as a waitress. All these people were dressed in leather and latex. I saw strange things during that evening. I saw women flirting with several different men. I saw women tied to columns and men walking past to hit them, kiss them. By the way, this is, just to remind you guys, this is at ircnic.substack.com. This is, you can also follow him on Twitter at irc_nic, or his name is ircnic. He has lots of great Gladio content, and, you can kind of read all of this yourself instead of waiting for me to read it to you. She does mention the New York Eve party of 1994, which was finally held in a warehouse in Schaerbeek. There are many other parties she mentions, like this shiny science fiction Star Trek themed party. These are all organized by Farid and another man named Guy. They're all focused on BDSM. They have the same wealthy and 30 to 50 years old attendees, and they wear masks that they never remove. So far, it looks like Toussaint has stumbled upon the private sex parties of the local bourgeois. There's nothing inherently wrong with these, nothing illegal, but things definitely get weird when a pimp is involved with bringing in young, fresh women. The place where these are held, the Malou, is also a curious choice. But this is only the beginning. The next part of the story gets a bit tangled, so pay attention. Very bizarre institute. Toussaint meets a former girl of Farid on the tip of a colleague. Also named Natalie, Natalie V, was friends with 3 girls who worked at a bar in Affligem. Bia, Soria, and Deborah were all waitresses at the Bubbles Bar, ran by Farid. Natalie V starts working there. The clients of this special bar were stimulated with massages by the waitresses while they have their drinks. Fareed tells Natalie V that he's looking for a woman to work in a new facility, that he's already got 3 others on board. It's run by a woman named Chantel. Her friend Soria has worked for her before. Who's that woman, Chantel? Chantel Rofs is a madame who had been to prison for pimping. She's close to the Fortunato Mantarcourt network. She also owns her own tanning salon operation and runs an escort girls network. Soria, interrogated by Toussaint, says that Chantal works closely with Fareed, who has girls working for both of them in Germany, and they also drug their own prostitutes to force them to work. He would provide her regularly with new girls for a fee. Chantal Roofs was the owner of and worked at the Body Sun Tanning Salon in Brussels at number 144 on Vleuregat Street. Right next door at number 142 is the ISIS, an establishment also known as the Institute Bazaar, a brothel that she operated as well. Natalie V and Soria were asked by Fareed if they liked BDSM, and if so, he knew a place where they could work, with Chantal, meaning the Institute Bazaar. Chantal has had troubles because she went to prison for pimping and had a police investigation file open. The Institute Bazaar had to shut down because she couldn't run it, meaning that it was officially closed, but behind doors, prostitutes were still provided to clients. It worked with a catalog system where the client was provided a girl based on what he chose in a catalog, like a blonde or a brunette. Soria had previously worked as a brunette for Chantal. Chantal also took pride in the fact that she had provided women for important peoples like celebrity lawyers or a famous Swedish football player who worked for the Brussels club Anderlecht. To sum it up, the Malou was used as a cover for pimping operations and as a place to hold BDSM sex parties. Fareed Rafi recruited women to work there and then brought them into prostitution. He used these girls for his own network or for Chantal Roof's brothel for a fee. Drugs can be used if necessary to force the girls to work. The clientele is always wealthy. Brussels elite and sadomasochism is their specialty. Delhouven being able to help find this specific clientele. But Soria has one big reveal to make to Toussaint. There's pedophilia involved with Chantal and Fareed's prostitution rings. She tells the story of how, on February 12, 1995, at the Institute Bazaar, she saw a young girl come in brought by Chantal for a specific client. He wanted a virgin. Chantal said that she was 18, but in reality, she's only 14. This young girl, named Cindy, had just run away from her Italian family in Mons, near Charleroi. She met up with a friend of hers, Isabel, a different one than the one previously mentioned, who's 17 and dating a 32-year-old drug dealer and former pimp named Carlo, and they decide to all go out at a club in Brussels. At the club, Cindy's friends talk with a few men, including one named Faisal. He's Fareed's errand boy. They have a great time. Cindy drinks alcohol for the first time, and they go home. Then next morning, Cindy's friend tells her that she can make a lot of money if she accepts to have sex with an old man. She's afraid and only accepts because she thinks Isabel's boyfriend might beat them up. After she's brought to the bazaar by Isabel and Carlo, Cindy is brought to a private room by Chantal, where she's raped by a man in his 50s. That's when Soria finds her crying in the hallways of the brothel and notices immediately that she is obviously a minor. A complaint was never filed, and Cindy simply left the bazaar completely broken and in tears, not even getting the money she was promised for what she was forced to do. Here's part of Soria's testimony about Cindy. Around mid-February, I was working at the Institute Bazaar with my friend Miai. There, we met a young girl I had never seen before. Her name was Cindy. Chantal brought her to Barbara. Chantal told Barbara that she had a client for Cindy. She said she was a virgin and that she was what the client was looking for. Barbara said she looked young, but Chantal said she had just turned 18. Chantal replied that he was paying 120,000 francs and that she was giving Cindy 20,000 francs, respectively 3,500 of today's euros. I know that the client consumed her right there. I also saw the client. He was a big, ugly old man. The girl left crying. I was moved to see her leave in that state. She kept crying. I tried to comfort her, but she kept sobbing. A week later, I talked to Barbara about it, and she told me that Chantal was crazy, that the girl from last week wasn't 18, but was actual 14. I was disgusted. At the end of August 1995, Toussaint and his team find Cindy and bring her in for questioning. She accepts, telling Toussaint that everything Soria told them was true. Her friends are also interrogated, and it's established that they know Faisal, Fareed's sidekick. Toussaint establishes a list of people involved in the bazaar. There's Barbara and Raphael, two prostitutes who are the new owners of the bazaar after it was forced to close down. They're subletting it and running it for Chantal Roofs because she legally can't anymore. They say that Chantal is now back to being a prostitute herself, broke, operating the bazaar in a nearby bar called L'Excellence, where Fareed is often seen hanging out. Her boyfriend is a man named Alain Rec, director of a garage named Radar, a mysterious company that pops up in the Dutroux Nihoul affair. He's close with Rolien Potier, the small-time criminal dating Patrick Heimer's widow, Denise Tillac. Cindy's friend Isabel says that Chantel was the one who gave her the money when she brought the girl to the bazaar. She also mentions that her boyfriend Carlo, the pimp, wanted to force her to do it, having asked her to do it before, but then decided that bringing in Cindy instead would solve their problem. Cindy also identifies the 50-year-old man she saw get in and who she's certain was raped. It's Etienne Delhouven, judging from pictures she's shown from Toussaint's file on the Malou. All right, we'll come back and do this again maybe tomorrow. I'm not sure if I will be with you guys tomorrow. The schedule's up in the air. I do have to do a kitty cat delivery, plus I might go up to, like, I guess Orlando-ish area, kind of where Bro Grove is. I might be doing like a live podcast with Clint and stuff. I don't know. We got some scheduling to do. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. But may or may not be one tomorrow. If I show up tomorrow, it'll be late. So it'll either be late or not at all. So just a warning. Let's roll through the chat and then we'll get on out of here. All right. In the 16th and 17th centuries, Jews fleeing persecution under Portuguese rule in Brazil settled in Cuba. That's what you said. All right. Well, let's do a little outro here, and then we will get on out of here. Real quick. Seconds. All right, guys. If you guys do want to support what I'm doing over here on the show, make sure to leave a like, share, subscribe, comment, leave a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify. You can follow me on Twitter at TowerGangJose. All of those things go a long way to support the show. Also, if you do want to directly support the show, patreon.com/NoWayJose2020. The lowest level is $2. That's where you get access to early episodes. I've been doing 1 to 2 a week these days behind the paywall. Just did one last night, another one of the Wendy painting threads. So keep an eye out for those. That should be dropping. There should be another one dropping public, but this weekend. But if you were a patron, you would already be all the way to part 5, and part 1's the only one that's out right now. So plenty for you guys to get in there if you go behind the paywall. You also can listen with no ads there. There's an ad-free RSS feed. Also, you can get access to the pre-show and get priority for the call-ins on me and Austin's weekly call-in show, Already Dead, which is on Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern on both of our platforms. And if you want to directly, I'm sorry, I fucked that up. And if you're the highest level of my sponsors, or my patrons, you're a sponsor, and I read you off every episode, it's a big thank you to you. I have my former co-host on Tower Gang, at Tower Gang Toad, also at ApplegateDs, at ZOVRECK, at _InfantZeal, Tim Tuttle, at John Klebold, Will Bell's Delicious Blueberry Rabbit Eye Wine, big fan of the show, Torrin May, and then Jordan Peterson. All right, guys, I have an outro for you guys. We'll get on out of here, and I will leave you with this.
Goodbye, goodbye. Say it like samurai. So, goodbye, goodbye.